why we want to graph logarithms, because again, you want to check the graphs out. Also, we can solve things graphically. So you're going to have to follow along with your own calculator. My program's not working with my tablet to pop it up and to graph it, so you're just going to kind of have to hopefully have your calculator and follow the steps. So I want to solve log base 2 of x cubed plus x squared plus 1 equals 7 graphically. And so what we're going to do is we're going to graph each side of that. And so on your graphing calculator, you're going to let y1 be the log side. So if your calculator allows you to type in log base 2, you can. I'm going to switch it to the log base 10 using my change of base. So log of base 10 of x cubed plus x squared plus 1. Divide by log base 10 of 2, right, the base. In y2, I'm going to plug the 7 in. So that's going to be a flat line. So type it in. Log of x cubed, in parentheses, x cubed plus x squared plus 1, divide by the log of the base, the log 2. Alright, and then hit graph. It does take a little while, because again, calculator has issues with logarithms sometimes, and calculator is a bit flawed, although the part that's flawed doesn't matter as much. So there, a standard window, 10 by 10 window should work fine, and so once you've typed that in, alright, so I'm going to shade in blue, so the calculator comes out like this. Alright, that's the log part. That's the log base 2 of that x cubed plus x. Alright, now it is flawed. This is actually shooting down for forever, even though the calculator looks like it's stopped there. It doesn't stop there. It does shoot down forever, and then it does come up, come down there. Alright, then it should have a line, horizontal line, that's the y equals 7 part. Alright, and this is the moment we want to find where it intersects. So on your calculator, you're going to hit the button second and then the button trace. When you hit second trace, you get that window, value, 0, min, max. You're going to pick the fifth one down, which is the intersect. Alright, then the calculator will ask you first curve, second curve, and guess. And so what you want to do is you just want to make sure you put your cursor as close as you can to that moment where they intersect. 3 times. First time on the first curve, the second time should be on the second curve, and then as long as you're close, I usually just hit my button a third time to guess. And then it should give you out your x value, and it does. It gives you out the x value, and I'm just going to approximate it, 4.71434. And so the answer is x is approximately 4.7. Alright, is the solution. So when I plug in 4.7 into this, it is approximately going to give me out the answer 7. Right, and that's how we solve it graphically. So I'm going to do a second example. Solve graphically. So again, hopefully you have your calculator, because again, mine is flawed. Oops, this should have been not x, this should have been 2. So I'm going to make sure I change that on your notes. So make sure I change that to 2 on your notes. Alright, that should have been a 2 there, not an x. So it should have been log base 2 of x squared plus 1 equals 5 minus log base 2. And so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to graph both sides. So on the first side, it's going to be log, when I type it in, it's going to be the log of x squared plus 1 divided by the log of 2. In the second one, I have a 5, so don't forget the 5. It's going to be 5 minus, and then make sure you're careful, it's the log of x to the 4th plus 1 divided by the log of 2. And if you want to be extra careful, you can put an extra set of parentheses around that. I believe a standard window should work just fine. So if you type it in, it should be, and again, make sure you type it in. I'm going to type it in to give you guys enough time to do it so I can double check on what my graph is. So making sure a standard window does work. Alright, so I got my 2 functions here. Alright, so my first function, y1, I'm going to draw in blue, and then y2 I'm going to draw in red. Alright, so the first function is almost a V shape. So it looks like it does come down and hit the origin, so that first function is coming down like that. That's the log base 2 of x squared plus 1. And then in red, I'm going to draw actually does go through 5. That's 5 up here. And so there's 2 places it intersects. So it kind of comes up. It has this sort of flattening out at 5. So I kind of drew that weird, but let's try that again. It does flatten out, and then it's symmetrical, so it has the same shape on the other side. Alright, so flattens out, and that is at 5. Not that it matters in this case. So that's that other side. That was that 5 minus the log base 2 of x to the 4th plus 1. And where I want to solve is where they intersect. So I want to find this x value where they intersect and where. And again, it's the same process as before. I'm going to hit the second button, and trace. Pick the 5th one down, intersect. And then I have to do it twice. First curve, second curve, guess. So twice, or if you understand symmetry, it should give me the negative. You can do it twice, or you can recognize that they're both symmetrical. And so whatever this number should give me the exact opposite number on the other side. So you can actually only have to do it once. So first curve, second curve, guess. This comes out positive 2.035, which that means this should come out negative 0.035. You can check that it does. But due to symmetry, I know the positive should have the exact opposite. So the answer is x is approximately plus or minus 2.035. Alright, for this particular problem. This one you really would want to solve it graphically. It'd be very difficult to do by hand. So you really want to use the graphical method in these complex cases. And so make sure you can graph it and plug it in. And so that finishes up 5.5. One more section left to go, which is really just practicing solving more complex equations by hand, and we'll come back to graphical, and then some simple applications of logarithms. All right, and that'll finish up chapter 5.